Good morning, friends. It's the first Wednesday of 2022, and I hope that this new year has been good to you so far in these first 5 days. I wanted to share with you this morning about my word for this upcoming year. Setting a word for the year or an intention for the year is something I started doing in 2017. I heard a friend talk about that and I was intrigued. And I chose the word positive in 2017 because I was feeling kind of cynical about just sort of life in general at that point. And so I focused on the word positive that year, positive, over and over again, looking for the positive, looking for the silver lining, if you will, trying to look for joy. I did a gratitude journal, 3 things at least every day. And I've continued that well past that year. And I found that it really worked for me so much better than setting a bunch of resolutions that never made it out of January and that I had to feel guilty or shamed about for not following through on a word or an intention, just a focus that I can come back to throughout the year. So I've kept that up. 2021's word was blooming, and I did a lot of healing work in myself and in some relationships in 2021, and bloomed, really bloomed and blossomed in that year. And so as I was closing out 2021 and thinking about 2022, the word brave kept resurfacing in things that I read and in conversations that I was having with people. Brave. And so that's my word for this year. There's a couple of Bible verses that I'm using to help focus myself with this particular word this year. One is from the Old Testament, from Joshua. It's one of the things that Joshua says to the people right before they get ready to go into the promised land. And he tells them, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." So you don't have to be frightened or fearful of the unknowns because we don't go into them alone. We can be brave because God is with us. And then the other one comes from the New Testament. It actually comes from something that the angel says. The conversation between the angel and Mary when she's told that she's going to be carrying the Messiah. And it is this verse, Luke 1:37, "For nothing is impossible with God." And that just seemed to resonate for me because there are so many things going into 2022 that we don't know. We don't understand. The pandemic is still with us. There's still a lot of upheaval and unrest in our country and in our politics. There's a lot of unknowns for churches trying to figure out how to do ministry with all of these other things going on, and at home we're going to be having a kid graduate from high school and go into college, and that's a big change and transition for our family. So there's just a lot of things happening, and so brave is a great reminder for me that even when I don't know what's happening, or even with all the change and transition that might be coming, I can be brave and not be fearful because God goes with me. It's also the sense of knowing that I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to make myself small and not live into all this healing and blossoming and blooming work that I've done in this last year. So many times when we get stressed, our stress response isn't always our best response, right? Our stress response is often this like instinctual thing that you might have been raised with, or a coping mechanism that you had as a child to get through things. But that's not always from the rational thinking part of our brain. And so I don't want in these stressful change, transition, unknown things to revert back. I want to embrace that healing and growth and continue to move forward in all of that. So I don't know what your word for this year might be. If you set a resolution and you're one of those that follows them, that's great. If you're thinking about a word for the year, there really are usually just a couple of questions to ask yourself and to reflect on. What are some of the things, the constants from this past year that you really want to carry forward into the next year and focus on? And what are some of the things that you want to let go of from this last year and make different in the new year? And sometimes in sorting through those two questions, you can kind of come up with a word for yourself. And if you would like help with that, please feel free to reach out to me in the comments or to send me a message, and I would be happy to chat with you and see if we can't find you a word that will help you in your relationship with God and in your relationship with others and yourself as you move through 2022. Blessings, my friends.